is Brittany from the Goddess Complex LLC here, and happy back to school season. I know a lot of our uh, kids, pre-K to 12th grade, they're going back to school and they have already started, especially down here down south. So happy back to school, happy college journey to the college kids who are going back to college, going back for the next year of school, or those who have just entered the realm of college years. Happy colleging, happy life journey. Make sure you explore and elevate yourself and stay focused and serve a higher greater good and excel past your expectations. This video is for my teachers. This is for you. This is going to be about spiritual practices you can use in the classroom. If you didn't know, a little backstory: I am a Reiki 1, 2, 3 master teacher, and also several other different metaphysical certifications and positions I do hail uh, naturally, and also through education and certification. I was also a teacher, of course. I'm still a teacher, just in a different form, of course, metaphysical and several other different holistic wellness based practice teachings. Also, I teach life skill, life coaching, and several other different vices of avenues of self elevation and other different things to help serve your higher greater good and become your healthiest, healed self. My name is Brittany Wilson Jordan, and I'm going to give you a little tidbits of what I used in the classroom as an actual, just regular virtual teacher in the classroom for my students. One being a very great opening. A very great opening as a teacher is making sure your classroom sets the stage for the movie called Serving a Higher Good, Higher Purpose called Life. I made sure my portion of the classroom, my classroom was clean. I made sure I had everything ready, everything cleansed, sanitized. I know you guys can't burn sage per se in certain school districts, but in certain parts of the world you can. If you are able to actually use a diffuser, things like Lysol. I love the lavender one. And also making sure you have things like maybe a Swiffer vacuum cleaner or something of that nature for your classroom. Just depends on if you have carpeting, hardwood floors, linoleum, or even ceramic floors. Making sure your floors are clean, making sure there's no dust in the classroom, making sure it's an overall clean, sterile aesthetic, similar to how they have doctors' offices, clinics, and the hospital treated as such for your classroom. And also, if you're able to have some type of essential oil diffuser, I know a lot of people like to use the Reed diffuser or the electronic diffusers now, or plug-ins with some type of lavender, eucalyptus, mint, or something of warm spice. I love lavender and camphor for the classroom, or several different things. I know some people can get away with candles in the classroom certain times of the year, especially when it's wind down time, which we will cover in a later portion of this particular video. We definitely I had a ball figuring out what I can get away with. Of course, you can't use certain chemicals and things in the classroom, but making sure you use the best disinfectant and sanitization, which is two different things. Disinfect your classroom, sanitize your classroom, and make sure you have a properly stocked, of course, emergency equipment, PPP equipment, and several other different things as well to create a sterile environment similar to, like I said, those of a temple, those of a church, those are things of that nature. So I treated my portion of the classroom, because I had to share a classroom with my students, making sure everything was clean, sterile, and very feng shuied and organized. No dust, no trash. And of course, it's a classroom. It's going to get messy, but making sure I had established a routine for me and my students and staff to actually be able to work and function in a high vibe environment. One of the best things I did was, of course, make sure I re-clean and sanitize, more so sanitize the next morning, just to refresh the classroom tables. We talking tables and everything, making sure the garbage cans were at the right angle, making sure the books and everything were stacked, but also making sure pencils were sharpened. Everything was fully ready to go, and I had a grab and go policy for my students, and that's actually what I do advise. It creates a law of attraction for education purposes for not only just the student and staff, but also for the teacher as well. Also, I made sure they had paper, crayons. Of course, the facility made sure they had different things as well. But I made sure I did the extra part to bring in the kind I like. When I'm picky, which I am. Also, I bring in crystals and certain other metaphysical healing tools into the classroom and make it a part of the curriculum. But before normally do that, I normally have to bring out the crystals. Of course, I set up my meditation music, which is normally always on my computer, but also we had another device where I can actually play and project it. Also in cast it. Well, casting is going to be great for the classroom, especially if you have TV monitors or several other different devices. If you cannot bring a wireless speaker, which sometimes I did bring my wireless speaker with me, just to project that sound. And that is sound wave in your classroom. That is removing all negative energies. And also, especially if you have the ability to open a window in sound wave to create the air effect. So I also inquired the elements into my classroom, which create a beginning, during, and after calm down effect. As the students were arriving, they would hear the meditation music and frequency. They knew it was almost time for them to start their virtual learning. Also, during their wind down time, I actually acquired meditation, a part of my curriculum. Since I was certified, I was able to kind of do as I kind of, I enjoyed it, kind of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to inquire that to teach them meditation and also techniques to help them deal with anxiety, test anxiety, and education anxiety is what I normally call it in the classroom, because a normal classroom setting, of course, anxiety is there and a lot of children suffer from it. And I help them kind of wind down with that. Also, what I end up doing is before they leave, I normally inquire either some form of physical activity, which is going to be martial arts, or some form of aerobics, or some type of meditation or metaphysical holistic wellness based exercise, meditation, or some type of metaphysical um, moment of silence, comedy, or even resting. My students actually had nap time with their virtual learning, because some days they had virtual learning, some days they didn't, and I was just a regular in-class teacher. So I inquired all of those. Also, I acquired attunement. Of course, I I offer chakra attunement and sound healing with sound bowls and other different attunements tools and Reiki tools. So I normally would bring those with me. I do believe in keeping a set of those in class, especially those students who suffer with anxiety, with permission from their parents, of course. Always get permission from their parents before you introduce anything. Especially, I would have like maybe messages back and forth with the parents, email or some type of contact with them, or face to face, letting them know, hey, is it all right if I actually talk to your child about this? Have them do a journal, which is our next subject. And I would love to, I'm a licensed certified Reikiist. I'm a healer, and I would love to use attunement tools and Reiki tools to help your child with their anxiety and other different holistic displacement issues, or metaphysical displacement issues. So I inquire sound bowls via meditation, guided meditation, and several other different things I would project from the cast screen from YouTube and other different forms of music and downloads and things I was able to acquire for free, which we will go into that later. Pixabay is one of them. And of course, Calm, the actual app called Calm, is another one as well. And of course, YouTube. And so I would cast those to the main screen for my students, just to get them to calm down, but also give them some fun holistic practices as well. Another thing is crystals, and also pendulum. I actually brought a crystal pendulum and showed them different things, and actually told them, we would actually go outside for our breaks, our 15 to 20-minute, 30-minute exercise breaks, and they would have recess and things of that nature. And they would always go collect rocks, collect sticks, and collect the different elements and things of that nature. So metaphysical teaching and healing is out there for these students, just naturally, because children naturally are geared towards going outside, picking flowers, picking tree limbs, picking sticks, and building things, picking up definitely rocks and other different things, or playing in the sand, the dirt, and other different things, and just naturally. So each element is actually represented. I kept crystals in the classroom, but I also kept other additional things in the classroom as well. The biggest thing was not going over guidelines. Of course, public school, private school, optional schools, and private institutes are actually different. You can get away with a lot of different other things. Prayer was allowed in our classroom. Law of attraction was allowed in our classroom. Metaphysical healing and other different things and techniques were allowed in the classroom, especially since I was certified. We were getting to make sure you check Carson Coffee this weekend. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but also another different things that were allowed actually in the actual classroom. I was allowed to actually do law of attraction, but also affirmation. I made sure they recited an affirmation in the morning as we kicked off our study, especially when we had traditional classes versus the virtual learning, because I had them in a certain type of environment, also on a certain type of curriculum where they had fun, but also I wanted to make sure I instilled some things in them. That way, when they went back to the regular classroom, which is now, a lot of them do still do virtual learning, and some of them do still do traditional classroom now, and they've taken it into the classroom to help them study better. A lot of them have gotten my past former students have gotten really great grades. Even certain family members, they I use the same thing with them, and they have great grades as well with their parents instilling a lot of different things as well for them. Also, we have in the classroom, I know, like I said, I do believe in resting and taking naps, taking breaks, metaphysical things, but also inquiring certain treats and certain other different things in the classroom as well. So they had a ball. As a teacher, I made sure I had my wind down time as well. I made sure my health and holistic wellness was in place, ensuring, of course, I've always had my tea, my coffee. I always make sure I have something to empower me before we kick off class. Way before, I normally get in an hour or an hour and a half before my students would get into the classroom, and I would make sure, of course, I set everything up the day before. That way, I just come in, I'm sanitized, and I have time for me before and after class. And of course, you have your lunch break or your rest period or your break, because normally teachers get 2 15-minute breaks depending on what's going on, or they just get their lunch break. Or now it's a little different with the school system down here compared to out west, north, and east of the United States versus down south. And even down south is based off region and different things like that. It's a little different, but I made sure I allowed my time before I leave the house. Of course, we acquired that information in the last video. Go back to school, spiritual tips for back to school video over on YouTube from last month of August when school first started. And this is for those who are in college. You can also acquire this information to help you study better as well. Another thing is I made sure they also practice environmentalism. Also, we went for a walk and things of that nature to get out of nature. So I acquired that as well with permission. We practice safety drills and other different things as well as according to curriculum and safety guidelines. We also, of course, practice hand washing, which is a part of metaphysical spiritual cleanliness as well. So I wash my hand a lot. PPE tools and things. We went over that. Also, helping them learn life skills with the academic and career academic things as well. Also, journaling. I made sure either they had art time and they were, of course, always coloring, drawing anyway. Naturally, that's what children do. But also giving them a topic to draw to kind of get in the minds of the children to see where they are, but also have them journal and create an art journal at that, to just journal how they're feeling for the day. Of course, you're going to see this mostly in a lot of the academics for decades now, if not a century now. They've kind of acquired that to the natural school of academics as well. So it's free range. Like I said, I tried not to go over the rules and regulations of where I was teaching, and we had a great time. Of course, with a lot of different things. I made sure I had one-on-one time with each student, especially documenting their progress, documenting pros and cons of what's going on for each week or each monthly cycle of my classroom. And then, of course, sitting down with the parents, giving them a review and update and progress report. A lot of teachers do this naturally in the school system, but metaphysically, making sure I am paying attention to their mind, body, and spirit, and academics, and also their behavior and actions, and making sure I'm assessing that each child individually and not just collectively like most teachers have to do because of a short time period and restrictions with the rules of school. So this has been our video. So shout out to all the teachers, shout out to all our college students, high school, middle schoolers, elementary schools, and even our pre-K, and those who are entering the realm of childcare, which is another thing as well. So and online and offline, you can always create and adjust what I just spoke about in your own way. So I love you guys very much. Enjoy this school year. Make sure you catch up on our fastweb.com. Please sign up for fastweb.com if you are a teacher, educator, principal, administrator. If you are a parent, have each parent sign up for their own account and sign their child up an account, even if they're in middle school. They have grants for even younger children who are in high school, 9th, 10th, or 11th, 12th grader. If you are entering college, if you want to go back to get a certification or anything education based where you need the FAFSA form and other different additional funding, this message is for you. I need you to sign up for fastweb.com. Anytime they ask who referred you, put Brittany E. Wilson or Brittany E. Wilson Jordan in the box, or the Goddess Complex LLC. If you're not comfortable with using my first and last name, you can always put my business name, which is the Goddess Complex LLC, and you can put in parentheses YouTube. And if they ask for a link referral, link this particular video or any video that you're guided or channel link provided in the description box. Linktree would be a great link as well. So check me out over on Linktree, the Goddess Complex LLC. I love you guys very much. So I will see you guys in the next video. And happy schooling. Learn all you can learn and be all you can be. And just know you're serving a higher greater good and have fun while doing it. I love you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.